lot that goes into it. I feel like race day itself was such an awesome combination of camaraderie, perseverance, and fun. That I don't know. It would be really tough to articulate specifically what was going on, because it was just, when I think back to it, it was just so many, emotions and things. As far as what I learned about myself throughout the process, I learned that I'm capable of a lot more than I thought I was. I learned that perseverance pays off. I learned that exercise works. And and I learned that I don't hate running as much as I always thought I did. Those are a few of the many things I learned in that process.
Are you going to keep running?
I am. I don't think I will ever be a world record setting marathoner, but I enjoyed the process, and having a race on the books, even if it was 6 months in the future, was really helpful in making me put on my running shoes. I know that I should run, and I want to run, but I don't run unless I have to run.
And you had to.
I had to, yeah.
Really like that you and Rob kind of stuck together through the entire thing.
Yeah, me too. I liked that everyone stuck together in a way, everyone trained really hard. People thought that I trained the hardest just because I lost the most weight, but those guys were already in shape when they started training, but they also trained really, really hard. It just wasn't as evident, and you know what I mean? It didn't manifest itself in the same way for them as it did for me, but they worked really hard too. So I'm glad that they got to show that off and run a really impressive first marathon, and they didn't have to stick with my slow poke. There are, at this point, so many occasions on which we've sung together, and the song Hallelujah always has a kind of a special place because it was the first song we sang together when he was in Rome for an event that I was also at. I had a show scheduled, and he had a guitar with him, and I was like, "Oh, you play?" He's like, "Yeah, I play." I was like, "Oh, we should play." And he played a song, and it wasn't just, okay, he's okay. Like, he played a song, and it was like, oh, wow, wow, okay, you're legitimately awesome. And I was excited to play with him and sing and jam a little bit. And I was like, well, let's figure something out that we know together. And Hallelujah was that song, and so we sang it together. And I just remember the very first time we sang in harmony. Like the very first time we sang that song, and we sang together in unison. I got goosebumps. Like we hit that harmony note, and I was like, yeah, and that's probably my favorite memory. There's been a ton of awesome ones, but that was really like, this is cool, this is special. So it's always awesome. Like, it's always a really fun process, and it's always really fun to see them enjoying the song with us like that, and it always sounds beautiful. But sometimes it's transcendent, and you never know when or why or how that's going to happen, and you can't ever really put your finger on why that is, but something in the room happens, and everybody feels it, and it's, so that's a bad answer to your question, but I think you understand why. It's really tough to put into words, there's something really touching about it when the whole room is really focused on the same thing, and I feel like we're all singing together, and I'm not performing for them. You know, we're all together in that moment. You know? I do think that, hopefully it's not bragging to say that I love people, and I really enjoy working with people in a creative environment in which I can kind of help them find their creativity. And as a producer, especially when you're working with new singers or singers who haven't necessarily been recorded very much. I mean, most people sang a lot, but they haven't been in a studio much. They don't know how much they can play with their performance and how much they can try and stretch and do stuff, and they're worried about not sounding good. And then once somebody gets comfortable with the fact that it's just me and them in a room, and if it's bad, no one's ever going to hear it, you know? So try it, go for it. If your voice cracks and it's terrible, that's totally fine. We put it in the trash bin, and it never happened, you know? So I feel like because I am not judgmental, because I enjoy the process and I just want to make it the best it can be, I feel like people a lot of times are comfortable enough to try stuff that maybe they haven't done before, you know, and get outside of their comfort zone and hopefully trust me enough to know that I'm not going to hang them out there if it's not working well, you know. Yeah. That and the fact that I love every different genre of music, and I've always listened to everything. And so I feel like my tastes are eclectic enough that I can hopefully recognize good choices in all the different genres of music, you know. Honest, I'm not just saying it. All of them. There are moments every time where someone starts singing and you think, "Oh, that's it. That's the lane. That's their sound, or that's their voice." There's a moment with Emily Swallow when we were working on Renegade where I noticed that the higher parts of the song felt really good to her, and they were almost easier to sing for her. And so I was encouraging her to reach for a note that I was pretty sure she could hit, but I didn't know if she could because I'd never heard her sing it. And come to find out, she'd never done it, you know, sung anything like that before. And I kept saying, like, yeah, almost try it a little higher. Yep, next step up. Okay, try hit this note. Okay, this note. And then she just blew the roof off. And my engineer and I kind of looked at each other like, ooh, who knew that was there? That's awesome, you know? Those kind of moments are really fun in the studio. My first memory of playing guitar, I have an old Alvarez from the 70s that I found in my attic as a teenager. And no one in my family is musical as far as performance. You know, my brother's actually a musical engineer, so he loves music and he's always listened to music. And he makes music or helps people make music, but he doesn't play anything or sing. My dad sings in church, but that's it. Never performed or anything, you know. And so when I found a guitar in the attic, I brought it downstairs and I was like, hey, why do we have a guitar? Nobody in this family plays guitar. And my dad started playing it. And I was like, what are you doing? He knew a few songs, and he played them, and so I taught myself how to play, and played that guitar through high school and through college. And when I say played, I use that term loosely. I I knew a few chords, I knew a few songs. That was really about it. And then one of the summers in my summer before my sophomore year of college, I think, I worked all summer, saved up my money, and did not still have enough money for the guitar that I wanted, and my granddad helped me out. And so I bought this Taylor guitar, and that's a guitar that I had and that I recorded with and I toured with for over a decade. It was my only one. And then recently, since I record more and since I'm producing and since I need different guitar sounds and different things, I've broadened the collection a little bit. But yeah, those first two are definitely the most special. Good question. Performance-wise, that's a very funny question because my music is my work, and I think pretty early on my kids knew that work was why I traveled and music was why I worked. So I don't know that they were very happy about my music
Same as you.
in the beginning, you know. So I'd take out the guitar, and my daughter would be like, no, put it away. Because to her, if I took out the guitar, if she sees the guitar by the door, that means I'm going to work, you know. Thankfully, that's subsided a little bit, and just last week, she said, "Dad, do you know this Christmas song?" She said, "Do you know this Christmas song?" I was like, "Yeah, I know the Christmas song." She's like, "Sing it." So I sang. It was like Jingle Bells, or whatever it was. And so I sang it. And, oh yeah, Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells. She's like, no, don't sing it like that. Sing it with like, you know, your the other way you sing. I was like, what do you mean the other way I sing? She was like, no, sing it good. Sing it like you sing it when you're singing for people.
How old is she?
6. You know? And I was like, oh, okay. And then I sang it, and she was like, she can't remember what she said exactly, but something along the lines of that, beautiful. And I was very touched. We are in pre-production, which we have been for a while, but we kind of earmarked later this month and next month to really sit down and make some headway on it and possibly get in the studio and try to get some stuff recorded. But we absolutely want it to come out next year. So we're hoping that 2019 is the release. We have a pretty good list of songs. We have picked songs, we've picked the direction, the genre, we've talked about how we want them to feel, what other kind of things we want them to sound like, what bands, you know, have the same vibe and feel, and what singers, you know, are reminiscent of the style Rich wants. So at this point, we're basically looking for a window to book studio time, you know, pick musicians, and get in there and get to work. But Rich is also very busy, so it's a tough thing to set aside work for personal stuff or passion projects. You know, obviously you're not going to say, hold on, Supernatural, don't book me, or don't, you know, I'm not going to direct this episode because I'm going to work on my own music. You know, that's obviously not something Rich would do, or not something I would expect him to do, you know. So I think this year we'll have more time. So that's the plan. We're writing. Yeah, so Swain's been super busy, obviously, and I've been pretty busy, and I've also been busy with the production stuff too. So we're writing, and we've written a couple songs that we really like, and whenever we get the chance, we're gonna write more, and then when we have enough new stuff, we'll get to the place where I am with Rich, which is where we'll just be looking for the right window of studio time, availability to record. Depends on what I'm writing. So if I'm working on my own stuff, which has been difficult lately because every time I have a window, I can think of about 10 different things that I should be doing, and so I can kind of, it's tough for me to just decide to put everything down and start writing. But when it does happen, I usually have kind of a little method that hopefully tells my brain it's time to be creative, and it involves a lot of coffee, and I have a couple songs that I play to get me into the mood of the stuff that I want to write, and sometimes I listen to certain songs or certain artists that are in the genre or the vein that I want to write in, and then I just write. Sometimes if I have a writing partner, that changes the method, but it's just me, and that's usually what I do. Sometimes I get hired to write for film or TV or another artist, and that's much more of a, not mathematical, but it's much more of a kind of regimented, thing where I do the music, I do a chord progression that sounds good, that feels good, and then I put on top of that chord progression a melody that I like. Hopefully there's a few little words or phrases in there that work, and I kind of hum the rest. And then I take that template and I take it kind of away from the music or the performance aspect, and I write the lyrics. And then I kind of go back to the music and put it all together. I did commit to recording an album next year. I want to put a solo album out next year, and I'm really excited about it. It'll be the first time I've solo produced myself, so it's the only time that I feel like I will be able to, good or bad, have a project of my original music that sounds the way that I intended it to sound. I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything about the previous producers I've worked with, because they're awesome. But every producer brings to the project their own taste. And in the beginning, I really didn't know anything about it. When the first album came out, 2006, something like that. I was happy to sing. But when I listen to some of those records now, I remember what I thought it would sound like when I wrote it, and I hear what it sounds like, and I think, not that I'm disappointed in it at all, but I would love to hear it the way that I heard it in my head when I wrote it. Since I've started producing more and kind of putting it out there that I really enjoy it, and I'm open to it. I've been working with a few other artists that have just hired me to help them achieve their vision, and that's been really fun, working with some folks that I knew, but I didn't necessarily know that they were musically inclined, and I didn't know that was an interest that they had. And then they, pulled me aside at some point and said, hey, I wanted to hire you to go to the studio and work on some music. Would you be willing to do that? And of course, I said, yeah. So I have a few of those projects. Enriches, just finished Gills, covers album. If I could put out Riches, mine, and the covers album in 2019. My favorite word is dad. No. Growth. Selfishness. I'll leave it at I don't curse that much. My children's whining, and more so from adults.
What?
I would love to be or have been a college professor. I would feel bad answering that question for whoever did that profession. You're very lucky I like you.